What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Booster Jaden YouTube channel. Today I wasn't planning on doing a video on the Daily Swift, but we sort of have to. One of the suspension towers has fully collapsed, and I have a set of suspension to swap into it. I have never ever swapped suspension before, so this is a first. We need to learn because we've got two Swifts that will require suspension swaps from time to time. And we've got a new car joining the channel very soon. More on that later. Today, we are doing suspension replacement in the Daily Swift. I had a set of brand new replacement suspension here for it. But you see, I don't think I will be able to make it fit. I pulled the car apart this morning because we were actually going to install the PA system back down under here and get the speaker going, and that was all the wiring for it. However, when I pulled it apart, I looked at this tower and I thought, oh yeah, that's nice. And then I looked over at this one and I thought, where the hell's the shock gone? And the shock is just literally, look at this. That's how it was sitting. And then this is the piece that was, it was actually just sitting over there like that. And I presume that that goes on the top, but look, it's completely shattered it into, I mean, that's not meant to happen. It probably, the shock did probably sit about 10 mils higher, but it still didn't clear this, and it was just like that. And I've looked at that and I've thought, holy damn. And look, there's some debris of it, which isn't very good. So I had to go and get two new ones this morning. So I got them in a pair, and these ones aren't broken. So we're going to put those on. And what I've actually done is, to save some time, because I haven't done this before, I had to just take a bit apart myself just to know. So I know that the suspension just kind of, you loosen it off from the top, it drops down. I've been using the jack to jack up the beam when needed. There's a bolt that sits on here. This just clips onto there. There's two bolts here, which I've already loosened. And there was this kind of just goes in that hole. You have to jack it up though to get it in. So what I'm actually doing today is we're swapping out all four shocks around the whole car. I'll record the other ones. This one I didn't record up until now, only because I needed to know what I was doing. Now that I think I've got a bit of a handle on the situation, we can now film it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually just going to put that back down there, and I'm going to loosen off those bolts, and we're going to pull the shock out. Before we do that though, let's just take a quick look at the suspension that I have for it. So it's by the brand Tein, and it's brand new. It's never been installed before. I imported this myself from Japan, won it on the auctions dirt cheap, and it came to me brand new in the box. So what we're looking at is two rear replacement shocks, springs, and these sit on it somehow. They may even go up the other way, like, I think they go like that. I may have to do some research and have a look at my favourite YouTuber and see how they've done it. And then here are the two front ones. So, as we can see, these ones are in a much better, well, they're brand new, so I don't expect these to screw out on me. Least of all, straight away. And here is the shotty ones that are in it now. So I'm actually looking forward to getting these out. I was very shocked to see that this had happened though. Wasn't in my plan to do it today. It was always in the plan to do it, but not today, and that's my point. And I've kind of just been thrown into it. I've also gone and gotten some new washers and bolts just to replace the ugly looking rusty ones that I was left with. Let's do that shock. So what I'll do first is I'll finish loosening off the bolts that are located right down here. There's two of them, one here and one here. I know it's right at the bottom of the screen and you just can't see a lot other than my hand, but it's sort of the way it is, unfortunately. And then this should just hopefully free itself. I don't think there's anything else holding it. Oh no. And there it is, all pulled out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nice brand new shock and fit it in. And I'm a bit unsure about how this may or may not go. So I'm going to stick it up into the tower itself. If I can find it. Okay. And then I need to just get a bolt in through there, just to kind of hold it up. I powered ahead and one shock is actually in. The trouble with doing this sort of thing on the camera is that it's really, really hard not to lose my rag with this kind of stuff. Very frustrating how they have stupid, ridiculous, like where is one? Here. Look, you got these little, oh I don't want to touch it because I just washed my hands, but you got those little end pieces and you need to put an Allen key in them. So this Allen key would go in it and then you got to use a separate spanner to take it off. So frustrating. Also these got quite burred. Not as bad as this one. Very frustrating. But as you can see, the second shock is out and it's only been 5 hours trying to do this. I know, 5 hours, a lot of people probably do this in a lot shorter time. Remember, I am just a DIYer at home. And something else that happened is when I went to pull this shock off, look, it broke. There's a piece here that goes on there and it broke again. So these are just shot. So lucky I got a pair of two. Absolutely ridiculous, Suzuki. Like, what are you playing at? Putting these in an area where you know that water gets to, and then they do that? Nah, that's just... I'm not impressed with Suzuki for that. Anyways, one shock is in. We're going to put the other shock in. And I'm going to try and show you how. But pending on how frustrating it gets for me, will determine how much of it you see. Let's attempt to record me installing the left side shock. So what I've actually had to do is I've had to take these rubber mountings off the old ones and put them on, screw them down. I opted to put the washer here rather than the other side because I feel like it works better that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shock and I'm going to put it through until I see it come out the top, which isn't quite going to work for me. So I'm going to lift it through now because I've got my new bolt. And if I can just get it started like that, you wouldn't have been able to see that, but it doesn't really matter. And then really need to try and get this in, and then I'm gonna grab the jack which I've got here just for extra stability. We're gonna move it over to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just jack it up a little bit on the lower control arms, just to lift it up enough that I can put the bolts back into it. To about there. Okay, it needs to go down a little bit. Oh, too much. And back up again to about roughly there. Perfect. If I can quickly put a bolt through like that, and then if I take the other one, which it is quite bird, but if I'm careful putting it back on, it will do until I can get another one on the order. Screw the two bottom bits back together, and then there's a bolt here for this one, and this will pretty much, it should, if I take this, we should be able to now tighten it. Which all I'm going to use for this is, I want to use a spanner. I've got my spanner. I'm just going to set it till that it's sitting on here nicely without coming off. And then just tighten it up really, until I know it won't come off. Give that a whack on. Oh, it didn't do it. Okay, so I don't quite know what the plan is for this one, so we'll do what we did before. We'll go back to this one. We'll tighten it up by hand as much as we can and try not let it slip like it constantly keeps doing. I think we've just hit the maximums that these bolts are actually going to go. There's a little, you still can't see it, let's do it on this side and zoom you in. There's a little thing over here, you can latch that up if I can ever find my bolt, put that in. And that one's a 12 mil. 12, 19, 18 and a 17 mil would be all the sizes that you'd need to do this. Now that that's on, and I've just bent it a little bit, not that it matters, and I don't care. I just want it on, and then this, oh, the other one just went straight on, there, and then that just sits right there for this wheel sensor, brake line, and now the last one to do, which is probably one of the more important ones. I'll zoom you in on that one again a little bit. I'm going to lower the car a little bit. In fact, I'm going to lift it a little bit till it's up about here. We'll get it in like that. And then there should be one last bolt. Which, this is another one of those annoying Allen key things. Like, why did the factory do that? Like, Why can't it just be a solid piece? I'm sort of not really impressed by Suzuki. Like, oh, that's too far down. That wasn't meant to happen. Just enough so that it becomes like that, straight. And then I can just put it on. But see, now I'm going to have to take my Allen key. And usually to be pointed up a bit more. Put the Allen key in. I don't know if it'll... Like, this has been the last 5 hours of my day. Undoing bolts, doing them back up, dropping tools, losing tools, making a mess, cleaning my hands. The joys of suspension, I suppose. And the absolute last bolt to do is the one that sits on top of the shock. So I don't quite know if this is even spinning, but what I'm gonna do is take some vice grips and I'm gonna grip the top of this, and then we're just gonna use the spanner, and all I want to do is just check that it's not excessively loose. Okay, well look, it isn't coming off in a great hurry. I can always get it checked when I take it in for wheel alignment. I was going to just get the shop to do it, but as it's happened on a Sunday, and I have to film you the video anyways, I kind of just want to have it facing that way. It's tidier that way. Okay. So that is both sides done. This is just a little look at the shock. The same brand that I showed you. It's definitely a different shock to what was in it. New plates up the top, new bolts to replace the hideous looking ones that it had. And, you know, broken, new. And then there's the old shocks, which are going in the bin. A nice one here, new bolt there, and then there's the broken one from that side. So a good reason to perform the repairs today. I'm confident that those shocks are in correctly. I hope they are. I'm going to put the wheel on off camera, turn the car around, and then we're going to jack it up and do the rear. I'm more scared about the rears than the fronts. Well, the Daily Swift actually looks very much so a little bit like a sister in the garage there. No front bumper, bonnet up, and no front bumper and bonnet up. Where is the front bumper? Oh, here's the Daily Swift front bumper. We actually need to do some repairs on it at some stage, fix that, fix up all the underneath of it, PDR it or do something with it. I don't know about all the scratching, but it's a Daily Swift. It's exactly what it says on the tin, so don't really care. Front suspension's in. I'm unsure if it's in correctly. I'm looking forward to a road test. You'll notice I got the rear wheel off. And what I've actually done is I've pre-loosened the bolt on the shock. On both of them actually. The one up there, and the one under there. And then I've been loosening off these as well. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. I don't know if I take the ones off from the bottom first or the tops. I'll probably do the bottoms. And then hopefully they'll just drop down. We'll use a jack to jack up that beam where it says do not jack, because I have a feeling that those springs are just going to fall out of place. And then, yeah, we'll need to tighten them up somehow. So, camera's going back in the pod. we're going to loosen the shock right off and see what happens. Yes, let's take our bolts off. And then I'm going to zoom it in because I kind of want to see this afterwards as well. So remember, it's right there. I'm going to drop it down. I don't know what to expect. Has it dropped? Yes. So what happens when I wiggle it? So it would appear that the shock fell out just as I thought it would. And this is the one that was leaking. I mean, look at it. Unbelievable, isn't it? That the Japanese can... Oh, I don't know what to say about it. I'm just glad we've got new ones going in. Now I'm doing the same with the opposite side. And I'm just loosening off the bolt till it's like there. There's now no pressure on the housing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the jack. Oh, and the whole thing's just fallen apart. As you can see, the springs have fallen out on the ground and it's left a hell of a mess. My phone's just kind of dangling from the exhaust so that I can film this. What I'm going to do is, because I don't know what to do about those bits coming out, all I know is that there is another piece here which just kind of falls out. So what we need to do is take that out and take the one off on the other side. And then we need to grab our new ones and swap them to those. I already got one side in over there. I'll try and record this side, but it's actually really hard to record under here, to be honest. Like, there's not a lot that I can show you. What I could do, the shock should just take a bar, give it a decent whack, and then it just comes out like that. That one was actually beginning to leak at the bottom as well. Bloody shit brand, I tell you, it's this brand. So if you got that brand, get rid of it quick before you end up in a bad accident. The way that I line the spring up is I'm just going by the brand, which I'm guessing that the brand does not go in upside down. So we're going to line it right up here, I suppose, right there. I'm then going to take the top part. I'm actually just going to put that on first. And I'm going to kind of try and slip this under. It's been so difficult to do this video today. I'm sorry, but I really wish I had just done it now. I'm always glad that I film the videos, but like, this one's just a nightmare and a half, and then some. The shock this side is going to be much easier. I've already done the other side after I had my meltdown before. Put it in. Well, what you really should do is actually latch it on the bottom here first. No, it won't work. And then just pull it down enough that it could fit over. All I need to do is get it over that. Okay, so loosen off some pressure. Stick it on. And then I'm just going to jack it up a little bit. is the spring sitting firmly in? That would be a yes. And I'm now going to start bolting it back together. I don't know what you can and can't see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get you right down in there, but you might be able to see something if I just lean it in. So I'm going to screw the bolt on by hand as far as I can get it to go. Here's the final look before I start putting things back together. You'll see the bolts are all nice and tight and there's a decent gap between each one. Here's a look from inside of the wheel. Shock goes in there. It's all nicely in place and not loose. Secured at the bottom. These springs that I put in, they're not moving. This side is decent and well put together also. Nothing seems to be loose. Spring is in place and not moving. And bolt is secure on the bottom. So I'm going to hyperlapse putting the wheels on it. And then I'm going to... I don't know if I'm going to put the boot back together or I'll do something with it. And then I've got to throw this front bumper back on it. Well, there it is, all put back together and all cleaned up. I'm hoping that with this we'll be able to monitor the inside of that one. I'm guessing that the wheel alignment's very off. That wheel's semi-straight and that wheel's, yeah, it's got a little bit of it slanted to the left ever so slight. The steering wheel, it's not straight, so you can see, it's definitely out. And the suspension itself underneath, as you can see, it actually all looks pretty good. I wonder if I can put a flashlight on. The answer would be no. But it is looking pretty goddamn good. I am very happy with that, and you can see the Tein coilover. So I've put it in. I'm hoping it's all hooked up right. I put the boot back together, and over here is the old suspension. There's the one that was leaking. That one's just started to leak. That shock had fully collapsed, and this one was actually okay. Springs were okay as well. The Triforce middle section arrived the other day. It actually belonged to TM Swift, but when we had the bigger exhaust put on it, that one got removed. So that one will most likely end up on the Daily Swift. The whole intention of the video today was to install the PA speaker and reinstall the megaphone, but it never actually ended up happening. We did the suspension instead, and I think it looks quite good. It's not too low, but off to the mag wheel shop tomorrow. Wheel alignment, tyre rotation, and lower the shocks to the legal height as on the certification tag on the car, so we can go, I don't know how to read it, but I'm allowed it anyways, and that's the moral of it. So another successful install on something I knew nothing about. That is going to wrap up this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give this video a big thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, give it a thumbs down. I will not be offended. Also, follow me on Instagram if you're not currently. I post far more there than I do on YouTube, including previews. Well, not really previews, but I give a little sneaky on Instagram before a video gets posted. Also, subscribe to this channel if you're not currently. YouTube tells me that only 8% of my subscribers actually watch the channel. The rest of them are actually people that just watch the channel but don't subscribe. If you are new here, please subscribe, because I post once a week and I'm very dedicated to trying to make the best content that I can for my viewers. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.